Hey everyone, I am back today to share with you my week 26 pregnancy update. But before I get into it, I just want to let you know that since next week is Christmas, I will not be uploading a pregnancy update. I will be just trying to spend time with my family and enjoy the Christmas holiday, which I'm sure most of you completely understand that. So for the following week, you can be on the lookout for my week 27 and 28 pregnancy update video to be combined. So in week 26, baby boy is the size of kale, which sounds kind of funny because when I think of kale, I think of like the chopped up salad kale. But I think it means like the whole bunch or head, whatever you want to call it, of kale. I use the Bump app and it says he's approximately 14 inches long and 1.68 pounds. I know those are just rough estimates. He could be bigger or smaller, just depending. But yeah, so apparently he's the size of kale this week. For food cravings this week, I don't think I've really had any cravings. There was just one night in particular that pizza sounded good to me, so I had pizza for dinner, but it wasn't like a craving to where like I had to have pizza or else. It was just more of pizza sounds good, so that's what I had. But I don't think I would really classify that as a craving. And then food aversions, I haven't really experienced any this week either, which I'm super grateful to not have to be dealing with food aversions. It just makes eating much more pleasant. I feel like I have more options to choose from as far as foods that sound good to me to eat. So I'm happy to be done with food aversions, at least for now. So this week I've experienced a couple new symptoms that I'm going to share with you guys, and then of course I've had some recurring symptoms. For the first time in my life, I think I experienced heartburn this week. It kind of just came out of nowhere. I know it's partially due to some things that I ate. I had some jalapeno kettle chips, which are delicious, but I know that was like a huge factor into me getting that heartburn, and it lasted for several hours, and I just had this like burning feeling in my esophagus, and I was having a lot of like acid reflux almost. I don't really know what it was. I've never had heartburn, so I don't really know if that was it or not, but I just had this burning feeling in my throat for many hours, and it was so bad to the point where like I completely lost my appetite. Like I didn't want to eat anything the rest of the day. I just felt very yucky and I did take some Tums, which really helped improve the symptoms a lot. I was able to have a small amount of dinner that night, but I just still wasn't feeling all that well. But that was just one night. It was earlier on during week 26, and I have yet to experience that again. So I'm curious to see if that keeps happening often, or if it really was just because of the things that I ate that day. I know I mentioned this in other updates previously. It kind of went away for a while, but now it's back in full force, and that is the extremely dry, chapped lips. Like it is so bad, and I don't know if it's a pregnancy symptom or if it's just the weather here where it's cold and windy. I don't know, but I've never had chapped lips like this before, and they are just like always dry. They are so cracked and peeling, and it drives me nuts. I cannot stand that feeling of having dry lips, so I am just like constantly putting chapstick on, and it's not that big of a deal in all reality as far as pregnancy symptoms go, but it's just one of those things that's just really annoying. But I'm trying to deal with it as best as I can, and that is just slathering chapstick on my lips all of the time. So this week I've continued to experience lower back pain and pain throughout my hips and in my ribs. And when I say my ribs, it's mostly like towards the back, not so much like up here in the front. It's like in like the back part of my ribs, if that makes sense. And again, it's not really bothering me at all during the day. It's just at night when I'm trying to sleep, my hips especially just ache. And someone in the comments of my last video, or maybe it was the week before, had mentioned I should get a pregnancy pillow. I do have a pregnancy pillow. I think it's called the Snuggle. It's not the C-shaped one, but it's one that's U-shaped. So it has the belly and the back support, which I will say it does make a huge difference for me. When I went home for Thanksgiving to visit family, of course I didn't have my pregnancy pillow with me. So I noticed a huge difference. Like, I was definitely missing my pregnancy pillow. So if you don't have a pregnancy pillow and you are experiencing similar discomforts to me, I would definitely recommend you check one out. I will link the one that I have in the description box below. It is pricey in my opinion, but we did get it from Bye Bye Baby and used a coupon, one of the 20% off coupons, so it made it a little bit more affordable. But it does make a difference, and it definitely helps, but I still experience some discomfort at night, and I think it's just a part of being pregnant and my body growing, my belly's growing, I'm putting on weight, so it's just a lot of changes are happening in my body. So I know that the feeling of discomfort is just all a part of that, but I'm trying my best and just taking in the sleep when I can and trying to push through the times when my sleep is interrupted or I can't seem to fall back asleep. It's just, I don't know. There's not much I can do about it. I'm just trying to deal with it the best that I can. Something else that's new for this week is that I have experienced nightmares several nights this week, and it's not fun. Throughout this pregnancy, I have dealt with like weird, vivid dreams, but not really nightmares per se. I did have nightmares in the very beginning, but I think that was just a lot of anxiety and fear with becoming pregnant again after experiencing infertility and going through a previous miscarriage. I had like specific nightmares about that kind of thing. But since then, since like that first week or two, I haven't really had nightmares. And this week I've had nightmares, I feel like almost every night. And they are just like so intense and they feel so real. And I wake up and I'm just like, you know, really worked up about it, even though it was just a dream. But some of them have been really scary. And that has definitely contributed to me having a hard time going back to sleep, just because I'm sure if you have nightmares, sometimes you just get so worked up. Once you wake up from a nightmare, it's hard to like calm back down and fall asleep again. And there have been several nights where I've had a nightmare and woken up and been really like worked up about it, and then fallen back asleep and have had another nightmare. So those are not fun, but what can you do? So in this week, I've continued to feel some Braxton Hicks contractions. Not every day, just a few times this week I have noticed it, and they are not painful whatsoever. Sometimes I don't really notice it unless I actually touch my belly and realize my belly is really, really hard. And then I'll realize that, oh, I'm probably having a Braxton Hicks contraction. But last night in particular, I was having a few of them. They weren't, like I said, they're not painful, but they were really, what's the word? I don't know the proper word for it. Intense isn't the right word because it's not painful, but my stomach, my belly was just so tight to the point where I actually could see and feel baby boy's body. Like I could feel where he was in my belly and I could see it. It was the most weird yet cool thing ever. It was so weird. Like I was just sitting there in amazement, like kind of freaked out that my uterus is contracting like this, but also in awe of the fact that I could see him. I don't know. It was really, really gnarly, but I kind of, like I said, it was a cool thing. It wasn't like bad at all. If you have experienced that, if you had Braxton Hicks contractions where you've been able to like see and feel exactly where your baby is, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be curious to see if that's something that's common, or maybe he was just like in the right position during that contraction. But yeah, it was really cool, but really weird at the same time. So I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I meant to talk about it, but I can't remember if I ended up actually talking about it. But in my previous updates a few weeks ago, I had mentioned how my appetite had increased a lot and I just felt like I couldn't eat enough. Like I was always hungry, always having to have a snack, waking up in the middle of the night hungry. And last week in week 25 and then in week 26 as well, the appetite increase has actually leveled out. I don't feel like I'm hungry as often anymore. I don't feel like I have to eat in the middle of the night. I don't even really have to have my usual bowl of cereal before I go to bed. So I don't know what it was about those like weeks 24 and 23 and 22 where I was just so hungry all of the time, but that has kind of gone away for the most part. And I'm just having like a regular, what I would consider to be like my regular appetite back. And the last symptom this week is just I'm feeling like I'm tiring out more easily, especially when I'm doing like my daily workouts. I have really tried to make it a point to work out every day, and I don't do anything crazy. Like I've said before, I'm not trying to like gain muscle, and I don't have any crazy fitness goals. My only goal is just to get my body moving every day and maybe raise my heart rate just a little bit, get some blood flow going. But I don't have any crazy fitness goals. I'm just trying to stay mobile. But I noticed during my workouts this week that I'm just feeling tired fairly quickly, and I'm having to modify some of the exercises, and I'm having to take breaks in between. Even if I'm doing just like a 20-minute workout, I have to take a break several times and drink water and just like rest and kind of gear up to do more exercises. So I know it's just a part of the second trimester ending and me going into the third trimester, and then I'm sure part of it too is just the added weight that I have put on. It's just more for my body to handle. I'm not worried about it. It's not going to discourage me from trying to work out every day. I'm still trying to make that a priority, but I just know that I need to listen to my body, and if I'm feeling tired, give it a break, making sure I'm drinking lots of water. And my goal is still to just move my body every day, even if it's just going for a walk around the neighborhood or doing some yoga, doing some stretches, that kind of thing. So that's it as far as symptoms go. As far as baby is concerned and his movements, he has never been more active than he has been this week. I was reading in one of the apps that I think this week 26 through 28 or something like that are when babies are the most active, because they're kind of in that sweet spot where they're big but they're not too big to where they can't move around a whole lot. So this is the time, I guess, when they're most active throughout all of the pregnancy. So I've definitely been feeling that. You guys, I don't know if this is like normal for every baby, but he moves constantly. Like he's just even when I'm standing, even when I'm walking around, I don't know if this kid ever sleeps because he is always moving. And of course he is most active at night when I'm trying to sleep. And there have been several nights this week where he is just like a wild animal, like punching and kicking and like constant movement, to where it's just like constant punches, constant kicks, like kicks and punches simultaneously. It feels like sometimes he's flipping around. It's insane how much he moves, but all in all, I love it, and I love being able to feel him move. I try talking to him. I don't know if he can hear me very well. I know babies can hear in the womb, but there's some debate as to just how much they can hear. But I still talk to him. And there have been times in the middle of the night where he's moving around like crazy and I can't fall back asleep, and I say, hey baby, can you like tone it down a little bit in there? You know, just maybe not kick me so hard in my ribs or something. And he just, of course, keeps moving around because that's what he's gonna do. But yeah, crazy amount of movement this week. So the last bit of the update that I have for you guys this week is that I did go in and have the 1-hour glucose test. I actually had that done yesterday, and it was not bad at all. I feel like I have heard just horrible things about the drink, horrible things about having to wait an hour after drinking that beverage, and just I've heard a lot of like awful things. So I didn't really know what to expect, but it was not bad at all, you guys. I went into the lab at the hospital. She gave me the glucose drink, which they only had fruit punch flavor, and she told me I had to drink that within 5 minutes. And it was very sweet, I'm not going to lie. It was a very, very sweet drink, but it wasn't necessarily like bad tasting, at least not to me. It just tasted like overly sweet Gatorade. And so I chugged it down within just a couple minutes. And then I guess if I had to say the hardest part about it is just not being able to drink water or like chew gum or anything like that after you drink the glucose drink. So, but yeah, it wasn't bad. And if you are pregnant and you haven't had that test done, seriously, do not worry about it. It will be okay. It's really not that bad. So I had that test done yesterday. I have not heard back yet as to if I passed that test or not. Of course, I'm hoping and praying that I did, so I don't have to do that 3-hour one, but we'll see, and I will update you guys as soon as I know the results of that. If you aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you do that. I will probably give an update on Instagram stories whenever I do receive the results. Otherwise, you can wait for another 2 weeks for my next pregnancy update. That's all for the updates I have for you guys today. Oh, except for a bump date. I'll have to give you an update on my bump, so I'll insert that here. I feel like I don't really notice a difference between last week and this week. I know just a couple weeks ago on one of the apps that I have, it said that my uterus was the size of a soccer ball, and now it's about the size of a basketball. So apparently it should be growing, but sometimes I feel like, especially at this point, it's hard to tell, for me at least, the difference week to week right now. But yeah, so there's my little bump. So that is all of the updates I have for you guys this week. If you are in week 26 of your pregnancy, let me know in the comments down below, and share with me how you're doing and how you're feeling. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video very, very soon.